Welcome everyone, Mike McDonald here, just coming out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And today's video, I want to talk about the idea of recruiting and prospecting and how you can be more effective. And yesterday I was at a restaurant sitting at the bar, and it was a gentleman came up and full suit, had his books out. You'd just been, sounds like, to a Robert Kiyosaki seminar. He was talking about cash flow and different stuff like that, kind of to himself. But, so he had that stuff out. And at one point, he started prospecting and attempting to recruit one of the bartenders there. And, it's definitely a good spot to do something like that. People-oriented people. They're in the service industry. They're outgoing. And, a couple different takeaways from that, things that I saw that were good that he was doing, things that I thought, could improve on, different areas like that. And I think you guys can get a lot of benefit out of it. So, first thing, when it comes to recruiting and out and about, don't be weird, So one of the things, he ordered a beer and then it was too big for him or something, and he wanted another glass and poured it into a smaller glass and was just being awkward. And it's don't be weird, when you're out and about, you're recruiting and you're prospecting, don't do stuff like that. It's reading your book at the bar in the middle of the day, it's just a little awkward, and it's you're searching. He was searching on his phone for something, but he was doing the talk feature. It's just type it in, it's different things that can throw off, red flags and being a little awkward. And it's I'm sure he was probably nervous. It sounded like he was new in the industry. So, obviously he's getting out of his comfort zone, and that's awesome. Props to that for doing that, having the activity. That's what you want to be doing. It's that's how you get through your learning curve and your skill set. But, different things like that. So it's just be normal. You don't necessarily have to be in a full suit and tie when you're out and prospecting. If you want to be, that's definitely cool. But some different things that kind of, I think, held him back, or, obviously I'll never really know how it works out. But, things that he definitely could have improved on. First off, though, some of the good stuff that he did, he engaged the conversation. He, threw the question out there, seeing if they'd be open to something extra, and that was definitely good. I asked if they keep the options open. One thing too that was kind of cool that I liked is he had his list in front of him. So basically he was trying to use a third party. So he was talking about his business partner that kind of makes the other decisions, somebody else that he's working with. He was talking about how he was new and wasn't really in charge of those different things. So that was good, taking himself out of the situation and using a third party as kind of an expert that they're going to make the final decision. That's a good technique, a good strategy to use where, you're not the decision maker like that. So he had that stuff in front of him, he write down the numbers. So it's kind of created a fear of loss aspect to it when he was talking to the person, hey, this isn't the only person. And then he kind of asked, when would they be free? When might they be looking? And they said a couple months down the road. And he was yeah, they'll call you back, they'll follow up with you at this point. So it was definitely good in that aspect, I feel. One thing that I kind of felt that was a little awkward, don't be weird when you're prospecting, just act like a normal person. Don't be high maintenance. If you're at a restaurant and you're asking for 30 different things and all these crazy modifications and just asking for different glasses and different stuff, it's just a little weird in that aspect. So I would, advise against being like that, being as low maintenance as possible. If you're out and about prospecting and recruiting, I would recommend doing that. So on top of that as well, he didn't really build any rapport. So one of the biggest things I talk about, I have a training, it's called the Form Recruiting Machine Blueprint, where I go through the step-by-step of how you can build rapport with someone, get to know someone, find out how your business could be a fit with them. So it makes an easy, natural transition versus just kind of throwing it out there and hoping that they're going to, jump on board and take advantage of it. So it's a good system to go through. If you want to get access to that, you can go to coachmikemcdonald.com/form, FORM, to check out that training. But that's one thing I would have recommended, building a little bit more rapport first, finding out how your business or service could fit in with that bartender's, life, what their goals are, what they're looking for, versus just the straight pitch immediately. He did kind of try and cycle back and go through rapport after he had thrown it out. But I've just found through experience it's going to be easier to do that first. Start a conversation, build some rapport, get to know them, find out what their needs and wants are, and then leading into your business. Another thing that I've found to be a lot more effective is to kind of on your way out the door, right when you're about to leave, that's when you throw it out and be like, hey, appreciate your service. You have a great attitude and energy. Say, I couldn't help it over here when we were talking. You've got XYZ going on. I was just curious if you might be open to, something outside of that. I am actually head up expansion with a company in the area, and we're looking for some sharp people. And based on what you're talking about, it sounds like you might be open to something. Would you? I know you're at work. I don't want to get you in trouble or anything like that, but would you all be open to something outside of this? If it didn't interfere with your work that you do here. And they're either going to say yes or no. And if they say yes, you'd be like, hey, now's not really the time to get into it. I'm just heading out to a meeting, check your watch, check your phone, whatever. I just got to jump on this conference call, create some kind of break in the communication where you need to leave and be like, hey, let's exchange information. I can follow up with you in a couple days. Or, you could kind of use his approach of, hey, one of my business partners that heads up expansion is going to follow up with you in a couple days, kind of go through more of the details and see if it could be a fit for you. Let's exchange information so we can kind of move forward with this. When would be a good time for him to give you a call in the next couple of days? You're taking down their information, or you're connecting on Facebook, or whatever the aspect is. So that's kind of what you'd want to do, and then you could leave. So he kind of got sucked into question answer mode, which is what you never want to do, just because you explain too much. Like, your job again is not to sell someone or explain it or convince them up front. You just want to have them see the business for what it really is. So your goal is just to set that window of time and figure out that appointment that you can meet with that person. And then it's either going to be formed or not at that point, versus trying to give them bits and pieces of information where they're trying to disqualify you. You want it to be the other way around, where you're looking for reasons why not necessarily reasons why, but a quick disqualification of why, you don't want to spend your time with them or work with them, or they're not going to be a good fit for your business, or vice versa, both ends of it, versus you getting sucked into question answer mode and then kind of putting you on the defensive. It's an awkward situation. It's hard to, follow through with that. So a couple things, again, I would recommend would be building more rapport first, so you can actually find out a good reason why that person might be looking or why they might be open. And it'll give you a more natural transition into, offering them your opportunity or seeing if they might be open to something extra. And then on top of that, waiting till basically you've paid your bill, you're about to walk out the door, and just being like, hey, I'm heading out. I've got a meeting I got to get to. I got to jump on this conference call. Got some other appointments I got to get to, but hey, you gave me some great service. I appreciate it. You seem like you have an awesome personality, and, based on our conversation, I don't know if it'd be for you or not, but, I'm in charge of expansion with a company in the area, and, we're looking for some sharp business-minded people, and it seems like you might be a good fit for that. I was just curious if you might be open at all to something, extra, if it didn't interfere with your current work that you do here. Would you at all be open to something like that? And then if they say yes, be like, cool, now's not really the time to get into it. Like I said, I got to get to this appointment, but let's exchange information. I can follow up with you in the next couple of days. When would be a good time to follow up with you that you'd be free? And I can introduce you to some of the other business partners I work with, and, we can see if it's a match or a fit from there for both sides of us. So, when would be a good time to follow up with you? Boom, you got their information, you set up a time to follow up, and then you can go forward from there. So instead of getting, like I said, into that question answer, back and forth, puts you off your game, maybe a little bit better approach, to get a little bit more better results. But so again, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, like I said, you're watching on Periscope, feel free to throw out some hearts, tap the screen to do that. And if you're watching elsewhere, feel free to comment and share. And then again, if you want more of a proven system of, step-by-step how you can walk through with people, kind of create a conversation, find out their needs and wants, and how your business could fit into their life, be sure to head on over to coachmikemcdonald.com /form. FORM, and you can get access to my training system, basically how you can go through that step-by-step process and get more people into your business to see what you do. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon.